Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be talking about three things: motivation, commitment, and engagement.
Okay, so now we're motivated, let's get started. Companies need people who are motivated, who are engaged in their work and are committed heart and soul to the company. But what does that mean? Can you be motivated without being committed? Can you be engaged without being motivated?
We often lump together motivation, commitment, and engagement, even though they're not the same thing. So, what's the story?
Motivation is the fire inside us. It's what drives us. Motivation provides momentum.
It's the reason we put in the effort to achieve a particular goal. We're willing to do the work to get there.
We put in the effort, but it isn't always easy. It comes at a cost. So, the incentive, linked to the outcome, has to fuel the fire of our motivation so we're willing to do the work.
That incentive can come in different shapes and sizes: enjoyment, satisfaction, reward. According to the self-determination theory, developed by psychologists Desai and Ryan, there are two basic types: intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation.
As for engagement, you can be motivated to do something without really being invested in the task or giving it your all. The concept of engagement adds an emotional attachment.
It's about more than feeling a sense of belonging to an organization or a group. It's about really believing in what you do and why you're doing it. It's about sharing the company's values and purpose. Unlike motivation, being engaged definitely does involve an emotional bond.
So, any lack of consistency between the company's message and the real-life experience of employees can create a real disconnect between beliefs and experiences that can sow discontent, especially among those who are really engaged in the task.
Commitment, unlike motivation and engagement, suggests something more long-term. When you commit to something, that means forever, right?
Eternity is a very long time, especially toward the end. Woody Allen supposedly said that. But you're right, commitment conveys the idea of a long-term bond. Being committed means being motivated and engaged, willing to put in the effort and being emotionally attached to the thing you're doing over time.
So, you can't be committed if you're not motivated.
Right, but it doesn't work both ways. You can definitely be motivated but not committed to the long haul.
You might enjoy doing something and you might be motivated to put in the effort for a while, but that might be as far as it goes, without any sort of emotional attachment to the overall business plan, without being willing to put in the same effort in the long term.
Which means executives, managers, and HR departments should start looking for the root causes. Why aren't certain employees more engaged in their work? Why are they sometimes motivated and sometimes not?
We're talking about individuals here, except the role of HR departments is to think about the collective, which is hard when there are so many reasons why people show commitment and so many complex factors fueling motivation.
HR departments also need to think about whether the company really needs committed employees. Some business models, built on a high rate of turnover, are happy to have motivated people who are engaged and willing to put in the effort for a while, but are not necessarily interested in any sort of long-term commitment.
It's true that some companies base their business model on this kind of approach. They have a high turnover and employees with get up and go, but they don't put in the long-term investment to keep them committed over time.
On the other hand, in some trades, especially where there's a shortage of labor, loyalty is crucial, which means companies need to find the key to collective commitment.
To recap, motivation is the fire that drives people to put in the effort for the time needed to achieve a goal. Engagement adds a sense of emotional attachment to the task, while commitment suggests something more long-term. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short. Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.